Have you ever wondered why the vast majority of heart attacks, strokes, and fatal blood clots occur between the hours of 6 in the morning and noon? It is a terrifying medical statistic that most doctors know, but very few explain to their patients. You survive the entire night, your body rests, you wake up to see a beautiful new day, and yet, the first few hours of the morning are the most dangerous hours of your entire life. Why is this happening? Is it just bad luck? Is it simply the reality of getting older? The answer is absolutely not. It is not bad luck. It is the direct result of what you are doing in the first 60 minutes after you open your eyes. Right now, millions of seniors over the age of 60 are waking up and performing morning routines that they genuinely believe are healthy. Routines they have seen on television, read about in magazines, or been told to do by fitness trainers. They drink certain beverages to wake up their metabolism. They eat specific breakfast foods to lower their cholesterol. They stretch their bodies to get rid of the morning stiffness. But here is the devastating medical truth that nobody is warning you about. Your body at 70 years old is not the same as it was at 30. When you wake up, your body is in an incredibly fragile, delicate state. You have been asleep for 7 or 8 hours without a single drop of water. You are mildly dehydrated. Because you are dehydrated, your blood is no longer a smooth, flowing liquid. It has become thick, sluggish, and sticky, almost like syrup. Your blood pressure is naturally trying to rise to wake you up, and your heart is working harder to push that thick blood through aging, stiff arteries. In this highly vulnerable state, doing the wrong thing, even something that seems healthy, can act as the final trigger. It can violently spike your blood pressure, tear the delicate lining of your blood vessels, or cause those sticky blood cells to clump together into a deadly clot. Today, we are going to expose the 7 deadliest morning habits that seniors must stop immediately. These are not bad habits like smoking or eating donuts. These are the healthy habits. The things you do with complete confidence, unaware that they are acting as a silent shock to your cardiovascular system. We will break down exactly how these habits damage your body, and I will give you the safe, gentle, Eastern medicine alternatives that will protect your heart, thin your blood naturally, and give you true, lasting energy. If you value your independence, your brain health, and your heart, I need you to listen very carefully to every single word of this video. You will want to share this with your spouse, your friends, and anyone you love who is over the age of 60. But before we expose the first deadly morning habit, if you are serious about taking control of your longevity, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Here at Senior Health, I am Dr. Kim, and we combine the cutting-edge science of modern medicine with the ancient holistic wisdom of Korean traditional healing to give you the truths that mainstream medicine often ignores. I also want to know who is watching with me today. If you are ready to learn how to protect your heart every morning, type the number 1 in the comments right now. If not, type 0. Your voice is important to our community. Let's begin with the first morning habit. It is something almost everyone does. You have been told it wakes up your digestive system and boosts your metabolism. But for a senior, it is a violent shock to the heart and the vagus nerve. Let's talk about drinking ice-cold water on an empty stomach. You wake up, your mouth is dry, and you walk to the kitchen to pour a glass of ice water or water straight from the refrigerator. Fitness gurus claim that drinking cold water forces your body to burn calories to warm the water up. While this might be technically true for a 20-year-old athlete, for a 65-year-old, it is a cardiovascular nightmare. Let me explain the biology. When you sleep, your core body temperature naturally drops. Your internal organs are warm and in a state of deep rest. When you suddenly pour freezing cold water down your throat on a completely empty stomach, you trigger a massive thermal shock. The cold water hits the back of your throat and your stomach lining, which are packed with sensitive nerve endings, particularly the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve controls your heart rate. The sudden extreme cold sends a panic signal to your brain. Your brain thinks you are freezing, so what does it do? It instantly constricts your blood vessels to conserve heat. Remember what we discussed earlier? Your blood in the morning is already thick and sluggish from dehydration. Now suddenly the pipes carrying that thick blood, your arteries, are violently squeezed and narrowed by the cold shock. To push the thick blood through those suddenly narrowed arteries, your heart has to pump furiously. Your blood pressure shoots up in a matter of seconds. This sudden, violent spike in blood pressure is exactly what can cause a weakened blood vessel in the brain to rupture, or a piece of plaque in your heart to break off. In Korean traditional medicine, we have known this for thousands of years. We believe that the stomach is the furnace of the body. It needs heat to digest food and circulate qi, or vital energy. Pouring ice water into an empty stomach extinguishes that morning fire. It creates what we call cold dampness, leading to poor digestion, bloating, and terrible circulation in your extremities. So, what is the safe, healing alternative? You must drink water in the morning to thin your blood, but it must be warm. Not scalding hot, but comfortably warm, slightly above room temperature. Drinking a large glass of warm water gently wakes up. The digestive tract expands the blood vessels and smoothly thins out your thick morning blood without any shock to your heart. It is the single most important thing you can do to prevent morning blood clots. Let's move on to the second deadly morning habit. You finally sit down for breakfast. You want to take care of your heart, so you choose a food that is heavily marketed as the ultimate cholesterol-lowering meal. You make a bowl of instant oatmeal. This might shock you. How can oatmeal be bad? The American Heart Association puts a little check mark on the box. But here is the brutal reality about the modern, quick-cooking instant oatmeal that most seniors eat. There is a massive difference between the steel-cut, whole oats our grandparents ate and the highly processed, pulverized instant oats sold in packets today. Instant oatmeal has been pre-cooked, dried, and rolled so thin that it practically dissolves in hot water. Because it is so highly processed, your stomach does not have to do any work to break it down. When you eat a bowl of instant oatmeal, especially if it has added sugars, or if you put a banana or raisins on top, it acts exactly like a bowl of pure sugar in your bloodstream. It enters your blood rapidly, causing a massive vertical spike in your blood glucose levels. For a senior body, which is already struggling with insulin sensitivity, this is a disaster. When your blood sugar spikes that high, your pancreas panics and floods your body with insulin to bring it down. But here is the critical connection to blood clots that nobody talks about. When your blood is flooded with excess glucose, the sugar molecules literally bind to the proteins in your blood and the lining of your blood vessels. This makes your blood vessels stiff and inflamed. More importantly, high blood sugar makes your platelets, the cells responsible for clotting, extremely sticky. When platelets get sticky, they clump together. You are eating instant oatmeal because you think it will save your heart from cholesterol, but the massive sugar spike is actually making your blood sticky and creating the perfect environment for a blood clot to form right there at your breakfast table. And an hour later, when that sugar crashes, you feel exhausted, your legs feel heavy, and you are hungry again. What is the safe alternative? If you love oats, you must throw away the instant packets. You must buy old-fashioned rolled oats, or even better, steel-cut oats. They take longer to cook, but because they are intact, they release glucose into your blood very slowly, keeping your blood thin and your energy stable. And in Eastern medicine, we highly recommend eating a savory, protein-rich breakfast instead of a sweet one. 2 boiled eggs or a piece of baked fish with some warm soup provides stable energy, builds muscle, and does not make your blood sticky at all. Now let's look at the third morning habit. For millions of people, this is the very first thing they consume. They cannot speak or function until they have it. I am talking about drinking black coffee on an empty stomach. Coffee itself is not the enemy. It has antioxidants and can be very healthy. But drinking strong black coffee as the very first thing that hits your empty stomach at 7 in the morning is a severe biological mistake for anyone over the age of 60. Here is what happens inside your body. When you wake up, your body naturally produces a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your stress and wake-up hormone. It naturally peaks in the first hour of waking to get you out of bed. It naturally raises your blood pressure and heart rate to prepare you for the day. When you drink caffeine on an empty stomach right when your natural cortisol is already peaking, you are throwing gasoline onto a fire. The caffeine amplifies the cortisol production to unnatural levels. This causes a severe and sustained spike in your blood pressure. Furthermore, caffeine is a vasoconstrictor, meaning it narrows your blood vessels. So you have thick morning blood, an extreme spike in stress hormones, narrowed blood vessels, and high blood pressure, all happening simultaneously before you have even eaten a bite of food. You are forcing your heart to sprint a marathon while it is still trying to wake up. Additionally, coffee is highly acidic. Pouring it into an empty stomach destroys the delicate mucus lining of your gut, causing silent acid reflux and severely disrupting your ability to absorb nutrients from your food later in the day. In Eastern medicine, we consider coffee on an empty stomach to be deeply drying and heating, which burns out your adrenal glands and exhausts your vital kidney energy over time. If you want to protect your arteries and your brain, you must change how you drink your coffee. First, you must drink your large glass of warm water. Then, you must put some real food in your stomach, even if it is just a handful of walnuts or a hard-boiled egg. The fat and protein act as a buffer, slowing down the absorption of caffeine and preventing the violent cortisol and blood pressure spike. Never, ever let coffee be the first thing that touches your stomach lining. The fourth habit we need to discuss is something you do physically, right after you wake up. You feel stiff. Your back aches. Your neck feels tight. So, while you are still sitting in bed or right after you stand up, you do a series of forceful, deep stretches. You twist your spine until it pops. You roll your neck around in deep circles to get the kinks out. This is known as the stretching mistake, and it is a hidden cause of morning mini-strokes, also known as transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs. We are told that stretching is good for us, and it is, but not immediately after waking up, and absolutely not forcefully. When you sleep, your muscles cool down, your fascia, the connective tissue wrapping your muscles, becomes stiff, and the lubricating fluid in your joints thickens. If you force a cold, stiff neck into a deep, twisting roll, you are not just risking a muscle tear. You are risking something much more deadly. As we age, plaque naturally builds up in our arteries. The carotid arteries, which run up both sides of your neck and supply blood to your brain, are very susceptible to this plaque buildup. If you aggressively twist or hyperextend your neck first thing in the morning when the blood vessels are stiff, the mechanical force can actually crack or dislodge a tiny piece of plaque from the wall of your carotid artery. That tiny piece of plaque becomes a debris clot. It travels straight up into the small blood vessels of your brain, blocking oxygen. You might feel a sudden wave of dizziness. Your vision might blur for a few seconds. Your hands might feel tingly. Many seniors dismiss this as just standing up too fast, but it is often a silent mini-stroke caused by forceful neck movements. In Eastern practices like Tai Chi or Qigong, we never stretch cold muscles forcefully. The solution is gentle, mindful movement. Before you even get out of bed, simply lie on your back. Gently wiggle your toes. Flex your ankles up and down to pump the blood from your legs back to your heart. Slowly rub your hands together to create warmth, and gently massage your face and the back of your neck. Do not force any joints to pop. You must coax the blood back into the tissues slowly before you ask your body to bend and twist. This leads us directly into the fifth deadly habit. It is perhaps the most common and the most dangerous mechanical mistake seniors make. It is the abrupt wake-up and the sudden stand-up. The alarm clock rings loudly. You open your eyes, throw off the covers, swing your legs over the side of the bed, and immediately stand up to walk to the bathroom. You think you are being energetic. You think you are seizing the day. But biologically, you are playing Russian roulette with your brain and your heart. This phenomenon is called orthostatic hypotension, and it is a leading cause of fatal falls and morning heart attacks in the elderly. When you are lying flat in bed for 8 hours, your heart does not have to work very hard to pump blood to your brain because everything is on the same horizontal level. Gravity is not fighting your heart. But when you suddenly stand up, gravity instantly pulls a massive volume of your blood down into your legs and your abdomen. In a young person, the blood vessels in the legs instantly constrict to push the blood back up to the brain. But as we age, our baroreceptors, the sensors that tell our blood vessels to squeeze, become slow and delayed. Our arteries are stiffer and cannot react as quickly. So, when you stand up abruptly, the blood pools in your legs, and for a terrifying few seconds, your brain is severely deprived of oxygen and blood flow. You feel lightheaded, the room might spin, and your knees might buckle. This is when catastrophic falls happen. A broken hip at age 75 is often a death sentence. But the danger to your heart is just as severe. Because the brain is screaming that it has no oxygen, it sends a panic signal to your heart to pump as fast and as hard as it possibly can. Your heart rate skyrockets erratically. For a heart that has weakened arteries or underlying disease, this sudden, desperate demand can trigger an arrhythmia or a full-blown myocardial infarction, a heart attack. You must adopt what we call the 2.5-minute rule. This is a life-saving protocol. When you wake up, do not move immediately. Lie perfectly flat on your back for 30 seconds. Let your brain realize you are awake. Then, slowly roll to your side and sit up on the edge of the bed. Do not stand up. Sit on the edge of the bed with your feet dangling for 1 full minute. During this minute, pump your calves by lifting your heels. This manually pushes the blood back up to your heart. Finally, when you stand up, stand perfectly still for another full minute holding on to the nightstand before you take your first step. This 2.5-minute routine allows your aging blood vessels time to adjust to gravity. It stabilizes your blood pressure. It prevents the dizziness, the falls, and the panic attacks on your heart. It is the most important mechanical habit you can build. Let's move to the 6th habit. You are in the kitchen, and you want to get your vitamins. You want to be healthy, so you pour yourself a large cold glass of orange juice. Commercials have taught us that a glass of orange juice is the ultimate healthy morning beverage. It has vitamin C. It comes from oranges, so it must be good, right? For a senior trying to protect their arteries and prevent blood clots, Drinking a large glass of fruit juice on an empty stomach is one of the most destructive things you can do. When you eat a whole orange, you are eating the fiber, the pulp, and the structure of the fruit. The fiber slows down the digestion, allowing the natural sugars to enter your bloodstream gradually. But when you drink commercial orange juice, or even freshly squeezed juice with the pulp removed, you have stripped away all the protective fiber. A single glass of orange juice contains the sugar of 4 to 5 entire oranges. It is essentially a massive dose of liquid fructose. When liquid fructose hits an empty stomach, it does not go to your muscles for energy. It goes straight to your liver. Your aging liver cannot process that much fructose all at once. So what does it do? It immediately converts the excess fructose into triglycerides, a type of fat in your blood. High triglycerides make your blood thick, greasy, and incredibly sticky. Furthermore, this massive sugar load triggers extreme inflammation in the endothelial lining, the delicate inner wall of your arteries. Over time, this morning habit of drinking liquid sugar causes non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, destroys your insulin sensitivity, and creates the exact thick, inflamed, sticky blood environment that leads to deep vein thrombosis and strokes. In Eastern medicine, we view sweet, concentrated cold liquids as the ultimate creators of phlegm and dampness, which are the root causes of blockages in the body. If you want vitamin C, eat a whole, fresh piece of fruit after you have eaten some protein. Eat a handful of blueberries or a few slices of an apple. The fiber will protect you, but you must stop drinking giant glasses of liquid sugar first thing in the morning. Drink your warm water or a cup of warm, unsweetened herbal tea. This brings us to the 7th and final deadly morning habit. It is a breakfast food that is incredibly popular, especially among seniors trying to lose weight or eat a low-fat diet. You sit down and open a container of flavored, fat-free yogurt. For decades, we were brainwashed by the sugar industry to believe that fat was the enemy of the heart. So, the food industry created thousands of fat-free products. Fat-free yogurt is marketed as a healthy, probiotic-rich way to start the day. But when you remove the natural fat from dairy, it tastes like sour chalk. To make it edible, food companies pump it full of artificial flavors, chemical thickeners, and astronomical amounts of added refined sugar. A single little cup of fat-free strawberry or vanilla yogurt can contain more sugar than a candy bar. When you eat this for breakfast, you are committing a double biological error. First, just like the orange juice and the instant oatmeal, you are triggering a massive blood sugar and insulin spike, which inflames your arteries and makes your platelets sticky. But the second error is unique to fat-free dairy. You need fat to absorb fat-soluble vitamins, specifically vitamin D and vitamin K2. Do you remember what we talked about earlier? Vitamin K2 is the exact vitamin you need to keep calcium out of your arteries and put it into your bones. When you eat fat-free dairy, you absorb none of the fat-soluble vitamins. Furthermore, in traditional Asian medicine, heavily sweetened cold dairy is considered the #1 dietary cause of internal dampness. It creates a sluggish, mucus-heavy environment in the digestive tract, slowing down your metabolism and making you feel heavy and lethargic. If you enjoy yogurt, you must stop buying the fat-free, fruit-flavored traps. You must buy plain, full-fat, unsweetened yogurt. The natural dairy fat stabilizes your blood sugar, keeps you full for hours, and allows you to actually absorb the vitamins your body desperately needs. If it is too sour, add a few fresh blueberries or a tiny sprinkle of cinnamon. Cinnamon is a fantastic Eastern spice that naturally lowers blood sugar and warms the digestion. You have now seen the complete picture. The 7 seemingly innocent morning habits that are silently acting as a ticking time bomb for your heart and your brain. Drinking ice-cold water that shocks your vagus nerve and constricts your arteries. Eating highly processed instant oatmeal that turns into sticky sugar in your blood. Drinking black coffee on an empty stomach that violently spikes your cortisol and blood pressure. Forceful neck stretches that can break off deadly plaques. Standing up abruptly and starving your brain of oxygen. Drinking massive glasses of liquid fructose in the form of fruit juice. And eating sugar-loaded, fat-free yogurt that inflames your entire cardiovascular system. Hearing all of this might feel terrifying. You might be sitting there realizing that you have been doing 3, 4, or maybe all 7 of these things every single morning for the last 20 years. You might be feeling a sense of dread, but I want you to take a deep, slow breath. The fact that you are here, watching this video, means it is not too late. The human body is incredibly resilient, but it needs your help. It needs you to work with it, not against it. Aging gracefully is not about fighting the clock, it is about adapting to your new biology. Your body is asking for gentleness. It is asking for warmth. It is asking for stability. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, I want you to try the doctor. Kim protocol. Do not jump out of bed. Lay flat for 30 seconds. Sit on the edge of the bed for 1 minute and pump your calves. Stand still for 1 minute. Walk to the kitchen and pour yourself a large glass of comfortably warm water, maybe with a tiny squeeze of fresh lemon, and drink it slowly. Feel the warmth wake up your digestive fire. Then, instead of reaching for the sugary instant oats or the juice, make yourself 2 scrambled eggs or a bowl of real, slow-cooked, steel-cut oats with a handful of walnuts. Drink your coffee only after you have eaten. Within just 1 week of changing this routine, you will feel a profound difference. You will not have that mid-morning crash. Your joints will feel less stiff because your systemic inflammation will drop. You will not feel dizzy when you stand up. And most importantly, you will have the peace of mind, knowing that you are actively protecting your heart and your brain from the exact environment that creates deadly blood clots. I want to hear from you now. Which of these 7 morning habits shocked you the most? Have you been drinking cold water or orange juice every morning? Thinking you were doing the right thing? Let me know in the comment section below. Do not be shy. Writing it down is the first step to changing it. And your comment might be the exact story someone else needs to read to realize they are not alone. If this video opened your eyes, if it gave you a new perspective on how to treat your body, please hit the like button right now. Share this video with your family, your friends, and your community. Send it to anyone who complains about morning dizziness, high blood pressure, or heavy legs. And most importantly, click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Here at Senior Health, we are building an army of empowered, knowledgeable seniors who refuse to be victims of bad dietary advice. We are taking back our health 1 morning at a time. Before you close this video, please type the number 1 in the comments if you are going to change your morning routine tomorrow. If not, type 0, your commitment matters. Wake up gently. Treat your body with respect. And never forget that your daily habits are either medicine or poison. I am Dr. Kim, and I will see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay strong.